there's a microphone right there to catch the last gurgles, and Technicolor to photograph the red swollen tongue.
Hey, Vern.
Future events such as these
Angling?
will affect you in the future.
Damn you, Rabbit! You smell like fucking piss!
You're watching The Projectors.
Hell yeah!
A film fan program discussing a variety of movies from history and around the world.
What do you think of this boner I got?
Featuring your hosts, Bob Sham.
When you're Scandinavian, flopping out your mommy milkers is nothing.
And Angela.
If they were just gun perverts, this would be fine.
Party!
Thank you for selecting The Projectors.
I want French pancakes like at IHOP.
And now a preview of our film discussion.
Hey! Michael and Donna have been planning their wedding for 2 years.
We're so compatible.
The tuxedos have been rented.
We're wearing black.
Black, no.
The caterer has been hired.
We're not having blue mashed potatoes at this wedding.
What kind of blue?
And the seating has been arranged.
I hope you didn't put Dippy and Scabby at the same table.
Yeah, I think I did. Why?
Oh my God, they're not talking.
Hey!
Don't you remember what happened with the provolone?
Getting married can be a little nerve-wracking.
The bride and the groom ain't supposed to see each other on the night of the bachelor party.
Oh, come on, Michael. I said after the party we can get together.
Fortunately, there's plenty of neighborly advice.
Better look now, Michael. After the first kid, she's gonna blow up like a balloon.
This here set is a real heirloom piece. It's classy, and for only $3,000 it's a steal.
Do you broke now? What are you married?
If you're not sure about this whole thing, this marriage...
You're getting married. A person's got to adjust to certain things.
And what if I can't adjust?
You know, sometimes he does things like last night. I just want to kill him.
You open the oven door like this,
And you say, Michael, take care.
It's a story of growing up.
1 hour. I go out for 1 hour. 1 hour.
It's our wedding night!
It's a story of communication.
So what do you want from my life, huh?
True love. A story for all of us.
Sounds like an awful lot of trouble.
Rest in peace to Mr. David Lynch, who passed away just a couple of days before we recorded this session here. Huge loss. And, you know, you could credit, we've discussed a good chunk of his movies for this show, and there's more coming around the corner. We'll have hit up most of his movies probably by the end of next year. We may complete all of his movies, and he's definitely one of those directors that is the reason we even would ever think to do a show like this.
Absolutely.
And we're obsessed with Twin Peaks. I mean, I can't put in the shot, but I ordered a custom arcade cabinet where they stick an emulator in it and have all those games, and it's customized a Twin Peaks images all over it. It's a Twin Peaks arcade cabinet. That's how much we are obsessed with the world of David Lynch.
I have a blue rose tattoo.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite shows of all time, and you know we haven't discussed Blue Velvet for the show, but that's a S tier movie.
Man, that's an S tier.
When that
movie.
happens, we'll be talking about Lost Highway in a couple of months, 2-3 months, I think, and which is one of the few I have not seen.
Same. I'm excited.
So, yeah, just very tragic. He had emphysema. He smoked a lot, but I recently learned that people are offended by the word shut-in, but I heard it described that he had he described himself as a shut-in at the end of his life. And of course, there were these LA wildfires recently that destroyed a lot of the Palisades and stuff, and he had to evacuate, and he passed away from there. And even though he was an older man, you know, and you kind of have these weird expectations and understanding when older folk pass, there's just something about this guy that you just never thought something like what he brought to it seemed almost greater. Like he himself was something that was just greater than just the basic trappings of humanity. And so even though he was such an older man and you knew the realities of life, just the fact that he's gone, it feels different than, you know, most any other celebrity or anything else you would hear about passing away.
Yeah, and he also,
never spoke as though he were done.
Yeah.
So there is that wonder of what else did he have in his head that he wanted to do. He even said, I believe it was earlier this year, that with the emphysema and everything, that he couldn't direct in person, but that if he couldn't get back to that, if he had to, he would direct remotely, even though he wouldn't love that. But he wanted to still work.
Yeah.
That was still his goal.
I think the last thing he actually was able to do was when he had a cameo appearance as John Ford in The Fabelmans.
Yes.
Which he said he was paid in Cheetos. I wonder if it's puffy or crunchy.
Oh, it's crunchy.
Oh, it's gotta be.
It's gotta be crunchy. I have the same addiction. It actually makes me... It made me smile that he and I have the same Cheetos. I can't buy them and keep them at the house, just like he says he can't, because I would eat the whole bag.
He was also known for eating very healthy as well.
Yeah, that's why that was his like cheat.
Yeah, but then he'd also have these moments where he would just wax poetic about Cheetos, or John Carpenter sent a tweet in memoriam where he and David would always talk about how much they loved Bob's Big Boy.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
as a restaurant. Like, that was something that they always like to talk about.
I don't know if you've seen it. I don't think I sent it to you, but the Bob's Big Boy that he would go to, folks actually went and took flowers and pie and cigarettes and laid them all around the Big Boy at the Bob's Big Boy that he went to. So there's a little memorial for him.
You get me all
I know.
flustered.
I know.
Well, you know, we and for our this theme this month, we opened the year with his first 3 movies. We kind of busted his balls about the transcendental meditation thing, but that was something that was important to him, and that's all that's important. We're really only busting the balls because of how expensive that shit is.
Yeah, because I actually looked into how much it would cost to do that at one point because of how much we love him. I was just interested. I wanted to find out more about this thing he was so interested in.
Yeah, we can't afford that. But
if you are a student and you're interested in it, do it now.
Apparently you can get a pretty good discount.
I think you can almost go for free if you're in school. So if you're interested at all, do it now. But you can also just do free meditation.
But David Lynch, a true artist and someone who does and will continue to inspire us into the end of our lives. And hopefully, if something happens to where his name fades into the back of the zeitgeist, then it's our society's fault that's done something wrong. He should always, if you love film in any respect, his name should always be there. He is one of the great American masters. And I've said this before on an old recording that, say, if each country had to have a representative director to represent their country and their country's way of life, even though America is such a prominent movie culture society, I would pick David Lynch.
Yeah. Because
especially after his initial first 3 movies, I feel like his movies are just so American. Yeah, we will miss him. And I guess my only regret is that maybe I never got a chance to meet him and be awkward and not know what to say around him. But you know, we will always love David Lynch. He is the whole reason we would even think about doing something like this.
It's daydreams that I love, and sinking down, sitting comfortably in a chair, where you might be controlling some of the thoughts and directing yourself here or there, but at a certain point, the dream takes over, and you enter in a place where things are unraveling before you without your intervention. And many things can present themselves that way, and sometimes ideas that you fall in love with.
That said, these are the sicko sessions. We have been sick, and this is the first, I haven't had coffee in days, and the caffeine here is buzzing the fuck out of me.
Oh, really?
I'm very addicted to coffee, so I often don't notice how much it's working on me.
Yeah.
My body's so adjusted to it, but after taking several days off and having this cup, I feel freaking wired.
And it's just coffee. It's not like espresso or anything.
Yeah. So for week 4 of our 5 directors theme, we are discussing the films of a lady by the name of Nancy Savoca, particularly her first 3 major feature films. She has more movies than this.
Oh, okay.
She's just done a lot of TV stuff. She directed the HBO movie about If These Walls Could Talk from the 90s, which is about abortions and how fun they are. Another movie called The 24-Hour Woman or something like that. And she's directed a lot of TV stuff and has done a lot with her husband, Richard Guay. I don't know how to pronounce it. Guay. He actually co-wrote the movie that we're discussing.
It's probably
today.
like Guay.
Guay. We'll say Guay. She married him. That's her husband. So they work together in that respect.
So at least one relationship went well after this movie.
Yeah. But Nancy Savoca, we're calling it her Italian Hearts trilogy. No one else is calling it that but us. But
I think it's a very apt name.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it too. And I'm really pleasantly surprised to see how character rich these movies are. And she is starting to get her flowers after all these years. It's good to know, but it's still, we're kind of inside we're in the deep cut in terms of the film appreciation. So sometimes I think it's bigger than it is, but if you want good characters, I think you will be pleased with Nancy Savoca movies. And with the one we're discussing today, her debut, True Love from 1989, written by her and her husband, Richard Guay, starring Annabella Sciorra Ron Eldard.
Sciorra, I think.
Sciorra.
I don't know.
Ada Turturro, Vincent Pastore, Star Jasper, amongst others. Cinematography by Lisa Rinsler. It cost $750,000, but the movie made $1.3 million. This is actually her most successful feature film. This year, it won, I think it was like the Sundance it won the Grand Jury Prize at the Sundance Film Festival, which was the same year that Sex, Lies, and Videotape was up.
Oh, wow.
And that movie went on to become a movie that Sex, Lies, and Videotape won more awards beyond this, but Sex, Lies, and Videotape was very profound in that time because it made a lot of money, and it showed studios that these lower budget indie projects could have some traction or get some buzz going.
And it had James Spader in it.
Yeah, and James Spader's in it. And actually, that movie got beat out by this movie, True Love, in 1989, Nancy Savoca's debut film, co-written with her husband. And Annabella Sciorra, she is, we recently saw her, we're on like our 3rd or 4th rewatch of The Sopranos, and she plays the BMW dealer that Tony had an affair with. The one that was probably one of his gumar, as they call him, who most affected him.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call her a gumar because I think he really loved her.
Yeah, she seemed to be a very unique and interesting character, but that character also ends up taking her own life.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the more notable of the Tony Soprano mistresses from that show. But Donna and Michael are getting married, and we don't have last names. Actually, we do get his last name at the end. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think we also hear her father's last name when he's at the wedding. We don't hear any last names until the end of the movie, if you notice.
I did not notice
I'm fairly
that.
certain. But it's the young couple, and they're going to get married. Italian family in the Bronx in the 80s.
I love the time period of this movie because it is just a chunk of this couple's life, from their engagement party, which is in the opening credits as a video because her dad's got this VHS recorder
played by Vincent Pastore, who played Big Pussy in The Sopranos.
Love him so much.
And Janice is in this shit too. Look, we love The Sopranos.
We love The Sopranos. It's just a clip of this couple's life from at the beginning their engagement party, which we see on the tape, all the way through their wedding day. So that period of time, which seems to be fairly short in this film.
Yeah.
But they've been engaged for 2 years.
Right. And they seem to argue a lot. He's often called a wild man, though he doesn't seem any more wild than at least one of his other friends.
He just wants to go out and drink with his buddies every night.
He wants to go to this bar all the time and dance the Hucklebuck while watching the Honeymooners.
It's the Hucklebuck. Atomic passion.
Ooh, angel cake.
Yeah, it's not even a raucous bar with tons of people. It's just the bar he goes to.
It's the kind of bar I probably would want to go to when I smoked and drank, but
yeah.
But now I can't. And also, Donna's friends, they have their own, like, she has a friend that drives a cab and takes care of her sister. And one of Michael's friends is trying to court her, and and at one point he weirdly, like, proposes to her, though it seems like they haven't even really been truly dating or anything.
Yeah, it's one of those weird relationships where one person has decided they're in love with the other person, even though they don't know them very well. I do think they have potential in the future to be together. They do get close through the movie, but as far as we know, he's never even tried to kiss her and asks her if she wants to get married. It's a little crazy. He takes it from I really want to be with you, but I also want to help you. But no one wants an engagement to be, I can see you're struggling.
Yeah.
Let's get married. Come on. That's not romantic.
Well, they seem to have conflicts and problems, and when they're setting up to... The movie's all pretty simple. It's just really a character study movie more than anything. So it's we encourage, if you're interested in that kind of thing, to seek this movie out. This was recently released on Kino Lorber on DVD. It's a pretty deep cut movie, but not the most deep cut we're discussing all month. But she's trying to plan for the wedding, and there's a point where it's like 2 days out from the wedding, and he wants to go do the bachelor party, which is normal, but she wants to meet up with him after the bachelor party. And I feel like on this part, I'm kind of on his side.
I am too, actually. She needs to just go have her own night, which she does end up doing, but she doesn't need to hang out with him after his bachelor party.
Yeah, that's
dumb and a little controlling.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, it's one thing if you mutually decide you want to do that.
Absolutely,
I understand that people want to do that. Oh my God.
No. I didn't notice either.
We've been recording for like 17 minutes, and I realized I didn't have my camera cap. It was closed, so I've been like just talk. So it's just been darkness on my screen. So he goes out and he ends up staying out all night, and he and his buddies go to Atlantic City, and she's pissed the fuck off. But he has a lot of stuff he has to get up and do the next day, and he's so drunk sick he can't do it.
He doesn't do any of it, but he also doesn't even communicate with her that he's not going to. He doesn't want to talk to her.
Yeah.
And when she goes over to confront him, because her friends, Janice and the cabbie girl, is that what she was doing, a cab driver?
Yeah, she's a cabbie.
They were running all around town doing the things they promised to do, plus the things he was supposed to do. So she comes in and is talking about, your friends are trash, and you're trash, and y'all don't do anything, and he calls her a bitch.
Yeah.
They have a huge fight, and this is the day before their wedding. She goes and talks to her mom after this. I love the relationship between her and her mom. We find out that her mom and dad eloped, which she didn't know about until they're planning this wedding, because her parents didn't want them to get married. They were too young, but she does find out the day before her wedding that it's because her mom was pregnant with her. And her folks, the mom says they fought too, but they seem to have a very wonderful relationship. The scenes in their kitchen are my favorite. There's some crazy, like, aunties around the kitchen table trying to get everybody to eat cheesecake.
Ever since Vinny got the VCR, every night he's been bringing home a different dirty video. Like the night before last, he took home that Last Tangle in Paris.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah, filthy. He saw the bush.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Then last night he brings home this deep throat.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that one, too.
Yeah, I told him not to get any ideas. I mean, they pee through that thing. You know what I mean?
God.
So? Animal.
So realistic, this movie. It doesn't feel as though these are sets that are made. It feels as though these are homes that they went into and just filmed.
They might not be sets. I mean, sets cost a lot of money. It's very low budget. They probably really went into some brownstones and shot some stuff.
But even just like as is, you know, it didn't feel created. It felt so natural.
Yeah, totally.
And even to the point where the first time we see them hanging out at his sister's house, or his mom's house. He lives with his mom. She lives with her parents. And they're sitting around the kitchen table and she's wearing like a huge t-shirt and sweatpants. And at one point he like pantses her.
Yeah.
And it's just so cute and real. But then when they fight, it's also so real. You understand.
You feel like you're almost intruding on some real lives here. And I think that's the point of the movie and why it's called True Love, is trying to represent this as starkly as possible, something real, something that is beautiful and also brutal, and that can be very intense at the same time. But we do finally get to the wedding, and it seems to all be going pretty well. And there's a lot of human stuff, the way people are interacting with each other at bars and jobs, and you got these small characters that are parsing through their insecurities in these casual conversations. And it's just so much rich detail. And the camera work in here is also very nice as well. The way the camera pans and captures these moments, these movements. It's really impressive for a first project. And I thought this was just a smart, well done, low budget movie. But we get to the wedding and everything seems to be going pretty well. And we get to the ceremony, and this is after, there's a lot of hemming and hawing about whether or not we should even do this. And the night before, they actually see each other before the wedding. They sneak into each other's.
He sneaks into her house.
They're supposed to not see each other before the wedding because it'll curse it, right? But they can't even though they've been fighting like cats and dogs, they can't get away from each other this one night. So they actually hook up that night.
And they needed that. That's what I think allowed them to go into the next day feeling like, okay, we do love each other.
I mean, do they need that, or did it did it contribute to fucking them up?
They needed that if they were going to get married. Because even earlier that same evening, they were at a party and he was basically ignoring her. He was just talking to his buddies, and it wasn't until the very end of the night that she pulled him over and did like a blood marriage.
What the fuck?
You have to do a blood wedding.
A what?
You know Blood Brothers?
Yeah, I know Blood Brothers.
Well, this is the same thing. The girls used to do it with the boys, except for I swear I never do it except for with the guy I'm really married. Could you give me a hand?
Oh, shit!
Sorry.
I think you hit my bone.
Blood oath thing. And then, later that night they hooked up. But the passion, because, again, they love each other, but they fight like cats and dogs, but they also,
fuck like cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Like cats when they fuck dogs.
In her parents' kitchen in the middle of the night, I really was like, what if Pussy just walks in?
So the wedding goes well, and they're at the reception, and everyone seems to be having a genuine good time, and we're kind of looping back with a lot of these small characters and how they connect and how they're reacting. Everyone's very supportive. And then he's with his buddies having a side drink.
What time is it?
About 11:30, I guess. What?
How about when this thing is over, we go to the bar, and we have a few drinks on me?
Yes, Mikey. I don't think tonight.
No, Mike, when you get back, okay?
No, that thing's almost finished now. I don't gotta be anywhere till tomorrow.
Hey, guys, man. See, I don't think we should let our honored guest down here.
This has got to be my. What about Donna?
No, it's okay. I'll tell her. It's okay.
And then he says, "Hey, why don't we go down to the bar
after this is over?
The one where he likes to watch the honeymooners and do the hucklebuck, and we can have a few drinks." One friend, Kevin, he's a real dirtbag, and then he's got the other Kevin's partner in crime is the one that likes the cabbie girl, but he's got this other friend
who's actually the best man,
who's actually trying to give him good advice and tell him, you might want to start growing up and take this responsibility. And he's trying to say, it's like, no, you don't want to go out tonight. This is
not the night.
And he's like, no, we could. And the dirtbag friend's like, hey, this is the man's wedding day. Let him do what he. Yeah, so Michael goes and tells Donna, he's like, me and the buddies, we're just going to go out for 2 hours. And she gets mad. She's like, okay, 1 hour. So, of course, you understand why she's upset at this point. She runs off into the bathroom.
There's a beautiful moment where all of her girls come in, and there's 3 women and her in their big dresses all in one stall in the bathroom.
And when they all come out, that's when we get probably one of the most prominent shots of the movie, and one that is the movie poster here. It's just the picture of her in her wedding dress in a bathroom stall, just looking pretty defeated. And so they have the conversation there.
He comes into the bathroom.
There's a point where he's in the women's bathroom, right, of course. So this lady's dragging this little boy in there.
This bathroom is good. Come on, Danny. Come on. It's the same thing. I'm telling you, it's the same thing. See, this boy's here too. Come on.
I'm waiting for my wife.
And he's like, yeah, I'm waiting for my wife, which is the first time he ever said that word. And it's just very cute, this lady dragging this little boy who doesn't want to go into the women's bathroom. So when they leave, then they acknowledge how weird it was for him to say wife and her to hear him say it.
Yeah. One of the problems with their communication, I guess, and their fighting style right before the woman and little boy come in is, she's crying in there, and he is so mad that he's punching the stall and screaming, and he just keeps saying, I can't talk to you like this. And of course she's like, I can't talk to you like this. They can't. And that break gives them both a beat to sort of catch themselves. And you're right, him saying that, it made them realize that they just got married.
Yeah. So they do manage to leave the bathroom, and then they're taking their photos, and they can't really even hide their concern that's under the surface. They just are mad at each other and a little overwhelmed by everything. They can't even hide their expression from that.
Well, and she had told him right before they left the bathroom, she was like, I can't live like this. This is not going to work. And he didn't even respond. He just was like, let's go. Let's go outside. He just wanted to ignore that. And he just was saying, please, let's just go.
And the movie ends on them getting photos, and they can't even they can't even pretend to be happy in that moment. And that's pretty much the end of the movie, which is super interesting because either this marriage completely fails or it goes on in a horribly unhappy situation. But you can't doubt the passion that they have.
Yeah.
They probably do love each other, no doubt about it. But that doesn't always mean that it's going to work out.
They also might just need more time.
Yeah.
Even if they do love each other, he's obviously not ready to stop going out sometimes. Although they get on him at one point because she's babysitting and he's with her babysitting, and they go and they're like, oh, she drags him all around town, and they pull him out. So you don't really know how much he's actually doing that.
Yeah.
Because the friends make it seem like he's always with her.
But you also get the feeling that he's always asking to go out with these friends and go to this bar. But yeah, there is a point where we're on his side a little more when he wants to go to the bachelor party. And then we're obviously on her side when he wants to go out on their wedding night.
Yeah, when she's crying and says, but this is our wedding night.
Yeah.
You cannot tonight. And he just, it's like he still doesn't get it.
Fascinating. Ron Eldard, we see him as a smaller character actor over the years. I thought he did a really good job in this leading role here.
He is the shit boyfriend in Drop Dead Fred.
Okay, he's been in a lot more stuff than that as well. But that's just the one you keep thinking of.
That's why I know him from.
But yeah, True Love, 1989. 1 through 5 each, best out of 10. I think this is a solid 4
I
for
do
me.
too. Yep.
I think just a rich. It's pretty amazing how well written and well directed. The cinematography I liked a lot too. There's something you can really learn from these low budget projects, and people are very rich even if you know very little about them. And it's a case study of how to have these well-rounded characters, even some of which you don't settle on for very long.
Yeah.
And these are the kind of low budget movies I really want to see. It seems like a lot of people want to make the 8,000th shitty low budget horror movie or something.
Yeah, I've heard people say it's easy to make low budget horror, and it's like, it's not easy to make anything.
No, like, why don't you practice writing a human beings first before you try to get into some effects work you can't even afford? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I actually am going to go 4.25.
All right. So that's an 8.25 for the 1989 Nancy Savoca film True Love. Good score. All right. At an 8.25, Nancy Savoca's True Love shares that rankings with movies like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Scrooged, Melancholia, The General, the Buster Keaton movie, and The Substance in one of our more recent discussions. We liked The Substance a lot. It scored very good. Mm-hmm. And it must have been that Andy McDowell's daughter, huh?
It was Demi Moore for me, but okay.
Yes, True Love is an 8.25, an easy A for that very rich character piece. On Wednesday, we talk about what I think is Nancy Savoca's maybe more famous movie, just because it had more life in like cable era, you know? It was something that showed up on TV at a certain time, but it didn't make a lot of money. Actually, True Love is her most successful movie, which may explain why we didn't get a whole lot of major feature film releases from her, and why, you know, and the movie we'll discuss at the end of this week had a re-release just last year in 4K. But Criterion put out an edition of Dogfight, and that helped also reappraise Nancy Savoca. Yeah. But that's what we're watching on Wednesday is her film Dogfight from 91, starring River Phoenix and Lily Taylor. And I'm excited to talk about that one. You've been wanting me to watch that movie for a long time.
I've loved it for a long time.
All right, so let's get out of here.
All right, we love you, David Lynch.
Thank you for watching The Projectors. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. We are available on YouTube and podcast. You can also support the show by liking, leaving comments, reviewing, sharing, and never questioning Bob when he claims that certain characters in movies are like autism. We love you. Goodbye.